Saturday morning, 6 am. Carter Road, Mumbai. Over 300 people are gathering on the promenade. They're not training for a marathon. There's no corporate sponsor either. And no one is wearing any race bibs. They are in fact part of a cultural phenomenon that's fast eating into dating apps as a networking and meeting space. Run clubs. In the past 18 months, they have exploded across Indian metros. Take Delhi's Bhag Run Club, for instance, which has seen turnouts of around 1,000 people. Strava, an app that connects runners, hikers and cyclists, reports a 59% global rise in run clubs. And here's what's very interesting. Gen Zs are 4 times more likely to meet people through working out than at bars. So, what's driving the growth of these spaces in Indian metros? Who is building these communities and what are they seeing? And why are people choosing running clubs in addition to or even over dating apps to meet other people? Listen on. It's Thursday, November 20th, and I'm your host Pranav Vashne. This is The Morning Brief. How do you describe run clubs? Well, call it a third space. Not home, not work, but a place in between that enables social interaction. What do I mean? You see, India's metros are dense, but socially they are also isolating. Traditional community structures are weakening day by day, and run clubs are somehow filling that gap. We spoke to several runners who are getting into this fold. Listen in.
I was already running when I found out there's a run club called Stride Run Club, and I thought it'd be a plus if I join a community to add on to the consistency.
I've always been a gym person. I've always wanted to run, but I've never been able to have that courage to get up one fine morning and go out on a run. Not much of an endurance athlete before, but as soon as I joined the run club, the pieces of the puzzle fit in together.
Positive mixed martial arts. During my college days, I played Thai kickboxing, but I realized after I started my practice, it was tough to keep that regular regimen of training. So I said, let's join these run clubs, find a community of like-minded people and start getting back in shape.
So run clubs, it's for everyone. Like people who are absolute beginners, people who've been into the sport for a really long time. It's a means of connecting with like-minded people, to be honest.
Run clubs these days are like the new go-to places, like a cafe, a rave. All these events happen. You get this opportunity to socialize with people, and most of it all is like that you meet like-minded people over there.
You'll be surprised that the CEOs running there. Like you see, there's Nitin Kamat. He's into endurance sports. There's Anshul Jubli. He's a UFC champion. He's into high rocks. So you go for running, and you end up with networking or dating or whichever interests are in your core.
It's not just about dating. Like, obviously, if you meet different kinds of people and you hit it off, obviously you end up dating. Dating is a byproduct. It's not the ultimate goal here. The goal here is to run.
Basically, it has taught me discipline, patience. Even though when there are some days on weekends which feels gloomy sometimes in these Bangalore weathers, I just show up hoping the experience after the run, it will be a nice experience after that, although you wouldn't feel like that in the morning when you wake up.
Initially, what started as a slow, progressive journey, it just evolved into so much bigger than that. It has changed me in ways that I did not expect.
But what about the business of it? Why do entrepreneurs start run clubs? Why do people join these, and why is this growing? How do they encourage people to build running habits, and where does the revenue come from? To understand all of this, I spoke to Siddharth Yadav, founder of Stride, a run club which is just 2 years old but widely popular. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what really interested you to start a run club?
Well, a run club like ours, which is Stride Run Club in Bengaluru, is a social run club. So we don't essentially just do running and fitness. We combine that with socializing and networking opportunities.
Mhm.
And I started this run club back in September 2024. I was pretty recent to the city. I had come in May that same year, and I work from home. I'm interested in fitness, and I also, I'm a person who likes going out. Starting the run club came from this need to combine all these aspects and do something together with the community. And when
Mhm.
I started the club, it was just like three of us, me, my
Right.
friend, and a cousin. And gradually, when people joined in, it like snowballed into something bigger. And currently, we have a community of around 26,000 followers on Instagram. And
Mhm.
cumulatively, in a week, we cater to around 250 runners.
So, Siddharth, can you tell me more about these clubs? How have they evolved through the years?
Okay, so run clubs today, the kind of run clubs that we have represent the third generation of run clubs in the world. So the
Mhm.
first kind were only geared towards advanced and intermediate athletes who used to train for state, national, or Olympic events, and these were very exclusive run clubs. The
Right.
second wave of run clubs were led by different brands like Adidas, Asics, Skechers, and Reebok. They were relatively more inclusive, but again, they
Mhm.
were not that inclusive of beginners or people who were just getting started with running, and they would talk about a lot of intimidating running related terms that might
Mhm.
throw off the beginners. So
Sure.
our run club and run clubs which are making a wave currently in the country represent the third wave of run clubs. So we don't just, like I said, do fitness. We also bring out alternative avenues of socializing to people.
Mhm.
So people want a different social group than their office group, or they are pretty bored of their friends, regular friends in general. So they also, through such run clubs, get an alternative avenue to socialize with other people.
So, what kind of people show up at these club and why do they even do so? Wanted to get a perspective on, what these people get out of these clubs.
So most of the people who come to these run clubs are between 19 to, I'd say, 30. So in my run club,
Mhm.
it's the median age is 23. And since Bangalore is an IT city, a lot of people are away from their hometowns, away from their, childhood friends, and away from their college and school friends. There is a palpable sense of, loneliness in them.
Mhm.
So by coming to the run club while staying fit, they also get to meet other people, they also get to network. And these run clubs also go beyond just running. So they also encompass other forms of fitness relating to or unrelated to running, including high rocks, functional training, cycling,
Mhm.
swimming, and Pilates, and so on. The gender division is more or less equal, I'd say. Earlier, women were a little loath to step out in public and run alone.
Mhm.
And I'd say such run clubs have given them a safety net to run in a community and feel a sense of safety and security. And I've seen that people in this 18 to 30 age bracket like participate in like great numbers.
So, Siddharth, I was just curious about one thing. Have you noticed any interesting patterns, maybe, in how people interact, or are run clubs becoming new hangout places? Or maybe, are people pursuing romantic relationships in these places?
So in case of our run club, our goal is to combine social media with real running. Whereas there might be some run clubs whose focus might be to enable people to date with each other. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't totally agree with the blanket statement that run clubs are turning into alternative dating apps. And even if they are, there's nothing wrong with that. As in any other social space like your school, your college, your office, if people want to date or like find their partners, that's like their choice entirely. But I've
Right.
not seen
Okay.
any run club actively encouraging people to date.
And Siddharth, since these run clubs have become very popular, are there any hotspots emerging in these cities? And And what is the pace of these clubs? Are they for polished athletes or, beginners join them too?
I've seen this especially in Delhi, Bangalore, and Mumbai, cities which are like huge in the space that they occupy. That there are a lot of neighborhood run clubs that have come up. So, say for example, in the case of Bangalore, all the fitness activities used to happen in this central park called Kaban Park. But a
Mm-hmm.
club like ours, which is located in a neighborhood called HSR, we are
Mm-hmm.
able to cater to the people around this neighborhood so that they don't have to flock for everything to, a central park or a central public space. And
Mm-hmm.
similarly, in Delhi, you have all the running and fitness activities around places like Lodi Garden or, for that matter, Nehru Park.
Sure.
But now you have run clubs in Gurgaon, you have run clubs in different parts of Delhi itself. So this
Mm-hmm.
shows that running and fitness in general is becoming more decentralized. And
Right.
these run clubs, they talk to beginners. They don't talk about intimidating running terms like pace or your gait. So that
Mm-hmm.
way, they're more accommodative of new runners. So in all these run clubs, you would see 70 to 80% of the people who come in are beginners, and these are people who have either never run properly in their lives or
Mm-hmm.
they would run like once in a month or so.
How does a business model for these clubs look like?
Okay, so run clubs are three kinds actually. One kind is a set of run clubs that keeps everything free. The second
Mm-hmm.
is the kind which is like ours, which keeps a mix of both paid and free runs. The third
Mm-hmm.
kind is the one which is like exclusive. It would only cater to a set number of people, probably in all likelihood people who are really good on social media, and all their events would be paid. So in
Right.
our case, which is the second kind, I'd say 80% of our runs are free, and the
Mm-hmm.
only ones which are paid are, they are special experiences like run and raves, or if we are tying up with a good brand where costs are involved, where you're shooting content, or where people are getting a meal. That's when typically run clubs charge a registration fee.
Right.
And run clubs like mine, wherein the major chunk is that of free runs and only like 20 to 30% are paid runs. So they are the most common in India.
And for instance, does social media also change the partnership landscape for run clubs, such as yours?
Until I'd say 2 years back, all these partnerships, brand sponsorships used to be reserved for professional athletes
Mm-hmm.
who've competed at national or international levels, right? With the coming of these run clubs, the eco partnership ecosystem, I'd say, has widened. And even amateur athletes and amateur run clubs are getting these partnerships and brand sponsorships. And the reason
Right.
for that is their visibility on social media. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
differentiates the current kind of run clubs from the previous set of run clubs that we've had. So we've
Right.
done collaborations with brands like Red Bull, Reebok, MyProtein, McDonald's, Zepto, and we have upcoming collaborations with Cult, Fitter. So there's a gamut of brands which are now interested in these run clubs because number one, facilitating an offline community is very difficult in today's world. I mean, you can start an online community, you can create a WhatsApp group and have people join it. But how do you have millennials and Gen Zs showing up on a weekend morning? I mean, that's something that brands find very difficult. So,
Mm-hmm.
through these running communities, brands are able to be in touch with this cohort in person, which they might not be able to do themselves. And over the
Amazing.
past 1 year, I've also realized that proprietary run clubs or fitness events are seeing a decline. I mean, the run clubs or fitness communities which are owned by a brand, so they are not seeing that great attraction compared to a community-driven run club. And that's a trend. That's part of a larger trend in the world. I would say that the world is seeing in the age of AI, where anything that comes from top to bottom is like being rejected by people. They love authenticity, they love anything that they can be actively a part of, and they basically like anything that's raw and real.
Right. Amazing, Siddharth. Thank you so much for sharing your story. This has been fascinating.
Thank you so much, Pranav.
The broader context is important here. According to Fit Insider's recent analysis, chronic loneliness affects 17% of US adults and 24% of these people are under 30. Lacking social connection carries health risks comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes daily. Another research says that 72% of Gen Z runners join clubs primarily to meet people. It's a similar story in India. Cosmopolitan India reported that Delhi's Bhag Run Club sees nearly 50% of participants coming specifically for social connection. Even brands have noticed this shift. Bumble partnered with Puma for a singles run in Bangalore. Their research showed that 72% of single Indians are open to sports-themed dates. When a dating app promotes running as a better way to meet people than its own platform, that signals something. According to Elle India, athleisure brands are viewing run clubs as direct marketing channels. Participants are already in their target demographic, already wearing the product, already building brand loyalty through community association. What you're hearing is consistent. People are here not just for personal records or weight loss, but for consistency too. For a place where they're expected, where showing up matters and where they find a community. In fact, Gen Zs are rebranding running into what they call a cultural statement. And they're doing it with minimal infrastructure. There's no memberships, no contracts, just consistent time and place. So the run clubs keep growing. The crowds keep showing up. And in India's major metros, Saturday morning now looks different than what it did 2 years ago. That's it for today. You were listening to this episode on the Morning Brief. It was produced by Anirban Chaudhary and Rajas Nayak. Sound designed by Amrit Reggie. A new episode of TMB drops every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday on a listening platform of your choice. Stay tuned.